Introducing Billboard Pal, the mobile billboard. With your Billboard Pal, you can advertise anywhere, anytime. Just find your target audience and make unlimited connections. Billboard Pal makes advertising fun and affordable. Stand out from the crowd. Your future customers are ready to meet you.
Content over everything!
Certain powers, they don't need, the Prime Minister has certain powers. They don't need to go individually.
No, they don't. That's why, it makes me laugh. When something happens, Blair, so we're told, declared war on Iraq on the basis of weapons of mass destruction, which they didn't have. Do you agree with that? Yeah, so you're quite happy with that? Yes, you are. You voted. No, you don't. You voted for it. No, you voted for it. When you vote, you consent for them to be your power of attorney. You've consented. Whatever they do, you're happy with. Otherwise, you can't unconsent from it. You can't unconsent. Say again.
You have voted for them, but it doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you're necessarily happy with everything.
You've consented. Well, if I go and have I've got something wrong with my appendix, and I sign a consent form, and then when I'm there, I die. Yeah. But no, people can't say, "Oh, well, that's no problem. You consented to die." That's what they said. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not happy with it.
No, he's not happy. No, he's right to be happy. You've got no say. When you've consented to it, you're not happy. But what a fool! Why would you consent to something you're not happy with? Would you consent to me take your wallet away? No, well, why not?
You should pursue Tony Blair and take him to court.
He hasn't done it wrong. You consented. You consented to him doing whatever you said. You go and do what you're going to do, I back you. That's what you did. That's the system.
But there's certain countries where their own people constantly government or head of state to do something. And then, example, they go to war, they end up in the Hague. Example, my ex-president is there. So why those people can go there?
Why they can't go there?
Yeah.
Well, you have to ask some other big daddy, dear. I mean, what's the matter with people? Look, all the time you don't take responsibility for yourself, other people will do whatever they can do to exploit you, potentially. Not everybody. But I'll tell you what, the ones that actually want to exploit you will make sure they climb up the greasy pole further than you got time. You work 5 days a week, don't you? Guess what? My old man at the beginning of last century, he worked 5 days a week too. They didn't have computers then. My mother was at home looking after us as children. He was at work earning enough to keep the family. Nowadays, all those roll all those years forward. Yeah. What happens when a couple decide they want to get together? They can't afford a house. Yeah. If they can get a job and they don't have to work because they pay half the money. Yeah. That's all we want to go out. No problem. When you go out and you earn the same amount, they pay you all less. Because per household, they pay half. Because you can still afford a household. Right? Now you can't afford to have babies because you've got to go work. All that kind of stuff. And then when you do that, you've got to pay someone to cut your grass, have fun for you because you can't do that. Take the dogs for a walk, look after your children, usually the state.
So we should do vote, innit?
Yeah, so we haven't made any progress.
We shouldn't vote for no one.
Because they're turning to Big Daddy to sort out. But Big Daddy won't sort you out. Because Daddy ain't your daddy. Just because your dad was a big bloke and he liked you, it doesn't mean that your politician's a big bloke and he likes you. He don't. He's interested in him or her, not you. And you can tell because they get in a position where they get your consent to do whatever they like. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Honestly, I know what you think it's cognitive dissonance. Right?
What's the
alternative?
There you go, another alternative bloke. What's the alternative? Let's discuss alternatives.
Yeah, we know the problem. We know the problem. We agree with you on the problem. But what's the solution?
You throw it out there and then you walk away.
Yeah.
And I guess you just...
You're guessing something, yeah?
I'm guessing,
we're guessing.
because I'm guessing that you haven't made a point. As you said what's wrong.
You're guessing.
Your guess is right.
Saying what's wrong does nothing to solve the problem.
Okay, yeah. I didn't say I had a solution.
All right, I'll wait.
I didn't say I had a solution at all. I mean, I didn't say, I'm not saying I haven't won, but I didn't say I had one. I don't know why you challenged me.
Oh, you don't have one?
I didn't say I haven't got one. I didn't say that.
I said that.
I know, you said it. I don't, you invent stuff, and the audience do that. They invent stuff about me. It's really weird. And then they start accusing me of it. Whoa, you know, it's great
So
fun.
now,
It's great fun.
now you think I'm weird.
Oh, we all, trust me, oh, we're all weird. We're all weird. We wouldn't be here, because weird is sort of like eccentric. You know?
Agreed.
I heard someone, a lady actually, she was talking on the radio, she was talking about being a crank. She said, people accuse me of being a crank. She says, but I'm very proud of that. She said, a crank is a very useful thing. You can start cars with it, you can raise water from the well with it, you know. If you're not eccentric, if you're centric, it's usually centered on yourself. If you're not eccentric, then you can't think outside the box. There isn't a box, actually. I have noticed there's so many people that say, I can think outside the box. And you think, yeah, but what's in the box then? They go, oh, I don't know. So, no, there isn't a box. Get rid of it. Now, you know virtually nothing apart from what you've learned in your life at first hand, the same as me. We don't know much. Most of it comes from things like the radio, TV, what other people say. Women earn less than men. Is that right? For doing the same job? What do you reckon?
Sometimes women earn more than
gender
men.
pay gap is not real.
Yeah, no, what do you reckon?
They earn less normally because they work few hours,
Yeah, that's
they do
right.
different jobs.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. What do you reckon? Do women earn less than men for the same job now in the West? Of course not. Do you reckon women earn less than men for doing the same job? No, hang on, the lady. Yeah, come forward. Because you're the only one that's actually said they don't. Yeah, that's lovely. Now, not too far because otherwise I won't hear you. That's it. No. Now, why do you think that?
Because we don't live in an equal society.
We don't. She says. I asked her why she don't believe that. She said because we don't live in an equal society. So why do you believe that?
Because women don't get paid for the same job the same as
No,
men.
you're going back to the original premise. So why do you believe they're not paid for the same job?
Because it's in their pay packet.
It's in their pay packet. Oh, right. How do you know that?
Because you can see on the statistics.
Because you can see the statistics. What statistics have you seen?
There's loads of statistics out there. If you look at the payroll of what
If you want to talk, come around here. Sorry. If you want to talk, come
I'm
around here.
not really getting involved. I just stopped for a minute.
No, I know, but no, don't get involved. No, please stay. Don't. Come back here. Why do the most valuable
Yeah, she
people?
cannot handle it.
The most
When you
valuable-
press some questions, they
I
cannot
know,
handle it.
but she's the most valuable person because she's actually challenging what we believe. And now, I mean, I want that challenge, and yet you can't. You know why? Because the cognitive dissonance, she suddenly started thinking, oh, I'm going round in circles. If I said, don't you think you're going round in circles? And she said to me, oh yeah, I am really. Let me think again. Now I'm dealing with someone that's cognitive and has a different opinion. If I'm just talking to someone that is blind to their different opinion and their will to question me and themselves, all they do is walk away. Very, very common. Do you believe that women are paid less than men for doing the same job? Lady behind. Why not? Yeah, no, come forward though and listen closely.
She doesn't want to answer. So
You're observing. Oh, right. And what do you think of it? I didn't see her mouth move. Yours did. Clever stuff. Are you a ventriloquist?
Smiles like
No, you are.
she likes that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, why do you think? What she said to me? Oh yeah. What do you think of my behaviour so far? He likes it. The policeman. He's happy so far because he'd tell me if I'm going to.
you're not in a band yet.
Huh? So what do you like about my behaviour?
Not much. Think you're human.
I can't hear what you're saying.
CK,
What's she say?
Come on, have
Just listen.
I can't hear. Oh, you're just listening. Okay, jolly good. Anyone else want to interact?
I think you need to go and
Where'd you get that
have
water
some-
in there? Oxford University.
What?
Where'd you get that water? In Oxford University. Please carry on.
Are
Carry
you?
on regardless.
I can't. I'm not very good.
Yeah, I think you got problem with your ears. Nobody can. You cannot understand what people are talking around. You. So
Yeah, I might have a problem with my ears. Yeah, might not be. I can't understand what you're saying though. I've got this guy bellowing in my ear over
Good
here.
hearing, I hear it.
You
Yeah.
need to focus when you talk about this, the biggest subject around the world. You need to focus. Ignore him. Otherwise,
No, the noise. That's why I can't hear what you're talking about. Right. Anyway, I take your suggestion. question, but you don't tell me what I need to do. But I like the idea. Right, anyone else want to offer something then on that
Okay,
basis?
I'm asking you, do you think,
Yeah, go on then, go on
do you
then.
think women are paid less or more?
I think that, see, truth is I don't know.
Okay.
And nor do you, nor do you, nor does she.
So
Are you married?
So you don't agree with this?
Are you
But we
married?
hear,
You know,
all we go on
married?
what is said, like everyone else, which is kind of weird, puts us in the same footing, doesn't
So
it?
you don't trust this?
It appears that women, and it seems rational to me, that I side at the moment for the fact that they are paid the same for doing the same job because it's illegal not to, and if someone's paid breaks the law, then they have recourse to the law.
What law?
So if you're speeding, that's against the law.
How about the
then
government?
you have recourse.
How
If
does the government
if
break
you're
the law?
sacked for no good reason, you have recourse to law. Equality under the law is all you can ask for, because reality is there's loads of wrongdoings. Now, if this is the main reason, if women were paid less than men for doing the same job, yeah, just exactly the same job,
Well, men make up for the
would
women.
men have jobs? No, they wouldn't, because business is competitive, and if you can, the most
woman's
expensive
business,
part of business is human resources.
business.
If they had their way, there'd be machine resources, and if they can pay women less for doing the same job, men would not have very much difficulty finding jobs. Yeah, generally speaking, in jobs that men and women can do.
Is that justified for women to be paid less?
No, don't justify it. What I'm saying is, they would have. The reality is, they don't have. Women aren't wiping up the ball. The employers aren't wiping up the ball by taking on women when they, instead of men in their business to become successful because they can pay them less. That's what they would do. They would pay a man less than a man for doing the same job if they could. They would pay an immigrant with no papers, nothing or very little for doing the same job if they could. All those things are illegal, but they would do it if they could. If they can do it legally, they would do it too. So therefore, I'll come to the conclusion that that's likely. The only places that you won't have that happen is where the women can't compete. And women can't compete with men in many areas, and the feminists do not like it. They don't like it. And I find that difficult. I started a speech the other day, and I said, men, on average, are much, much stronger than women. They can run faster than women. They can play physical sports.
You got 9 months training baby, do you?
Generally speaking,
You got 9 months training baby,
Don't mean I
goes
can.
still.
And they work longer hours. They don't mind dirty
you go
work,
through 9 months
all
of
this kind
pregnancy?
of stuff. And
just
actually, the audience are going nuts just because I was talking about men. I could have spoken about women, but I didn't.
In every city. Rarely
Yeah.
you see a woman sweeping.
Yeah, the biggest open athletic contest used to be. It used to be the
There's
Olympics.
some women who do clean.
The biggest open athletics competition. I say, chaps.
No, I mean, there's some. I've seen.
Wait.
Open.
Yeah,
A woman's always open.
Let me,
A woman's
I'm
always
you're
open.
like the teacher when you're at school and you start
woman's
nattering
always
among
open.
yourselves, and the teacher says,
Man, make sure of that.
share it with the teacher. I think that's me. The biggest open, you're not really a pupil, so stop behaving like one.
Corner.
The biggest open, correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest open athletics
It's a woman.
competition used to be the Olympics.
Oh.
Yeah? Now in the Olympics, they have an A team and they have
All
a B
about
team.
that.
Who is on the B team? Women. Because if there's one women, it's
Because the men,
open,
that's why.
global open athletics.
Because the men.
On the men
women are
will
men.
always come in
All
first.
lesbians.
The women won't ever be seen.
All lesbians
near
are
the
lesbians.
You know
finish
what we
line.
are going to do next time?
All the women are
We are going
lesbians.
to make them in one team. Women
I'd like to see
and
it.
men
A real
becomes
woman
one
run.
team.
Yeah.
In
A real
every
woman
sport.
Yeah.
So we see now
Yeah.
who will come.
It'd be difficult. I'd like to
who
see
will
it.
beat the
I'd
other.
like to see. I mean, you play tennis with mixed doubles. And
The
stuff
women
like
and
that.
men- men
The men are
body-
so
In the
strong.
World Cup,
I'm not.
World Cup is happening in Russia. 6 players, men.
Yeah.
And then no,
All
let's say
lesbians.
five, 6 because the goalkeeper. So we see how far England will go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was here the other day. The feminist here. She said.
You're a
she
feminist?
said she believes you
Okay.
can have an all-female infantry force at war.
Impri?
Yeah, and I said, oh, I would
Where-
like that.
where-
And they said, oh, yes, you can. Do you know what they
Where-
said? They said, yes, you
who's behind the rear
can.
admiral?
With training, they reckon they can do it as good as a man. I said, oh, good. Next time we have a need for an infantry force, we're going to get the top.
We send all the women
women,
out.
however
We
it
send
is.
all the women out with
We'll
handbags.
send them to
They're
war
picking
first
it.
before the men go.
Fight the war for
And
it.
by the way, those guys on
Hit
the
the
other
head, hit the
side
enemy over the
aren't
head with a
playing
brick.
games.
I wanna
And you know what she
ask you-
said? This woman
handbag,
said,
like
but
Maggie
we'd
Thatcher.
negotiate.
I want to ask you a
How
question.
about that?
You know,
Like
there's a woman doing some kind of march. You can't see them. You see them there. Yeah?
Oh yeah, what
I
they
see one of the flight kids says 50-50 parliament. So 50 men.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Equality of outcome.
What do you say about that?
I'll tell you about that. Let's imagine you're boss, yeah? And you've got a building site, building site. And you've got this box, and the box is marked discrimination and prejudice, okay? Which is what they are when you go for an interview. Lots of people queue up, men, women, monkeys, everybody queues up. By law, you allow the men and women in, not the animals. And then you sit in front of you, and you're given an interview for a job. Now, the job is carrying bricks in a hod on their shoulders, up 4 flights.
Let me do
Now,
that.
are you going to take little
Let
weaks?
me do that.
Are you going to take weaker people?
Think that
No, you're
men.
going to take stronger people. Are they going to be men? Yes, they're going to be men.
No,
At the end of the day, you
women
took
are.
on top 10 people.
Okay.
Unusual, because
Like how you have.
not many people around. So you took on 1 woman, yeah?
1 woman.
Now, when that's
Book
the
better than 10
outcome.
men.
Equality of opportunity,
Let's be-
equality of outcome. If you count them
Book
in
the
numbers,
Bilbers.
you'll notice there's 9 men and 1 woman. That is equal representation.
Oh, isn't it?
That is proportional
Well,
representation.
let's be 9 men
Not
equal.
equal numbers.
Let's be-
And that's
But
what
let's be-
feminists are turning to now. And they're saying, no, you need equal women in Parliament.
Oh,
But you don't, you need the best
you already got one.
parliamentarians.
You already got the
And
leader.
it's
She's
so
a woman.
hollow and so obvious.
That's men.
You got a woman leader in the House of Parliament.
The best there, I wouldn't even like
Prime
I
Minister,
don't know what's called the men. I mean, they've all got grease up their trousers and up their fingers when they're trying to pull up the
game.
Oh,
I tell you what, you know, you already
no,
have
I've
a
had enough of you. How about going
Now
over
we have a
there?
woman in Parliament. What do you mean? There's not meant to run the
So-
country. Let's get women to run it. There's not meant to run it. Only women.
I agree with you. I cannot understand what you say.
Content over everything. Film me going
Get that
away.
one. Get that one.
Anyway,
That-
right, where were we? So what do you reckon? Women are paid less than men for doing the same job. Is that true? Sometimes. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And also men are paid less than women for doing the same job. Is that right?
But did
Of course they right. Of course they do. Not
But did
right.
you know that women drug dealers get paid more than male drug dealers? That's a fact. That's
What do
a
you mean?
fact.
Pharmacists?
That's a fact. No,
Pharmacists.
that's
You're a
what
Sikh.
drug
All
dealers-
Sikhs are pharmacists.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the Mexican cartels. Innit? They pay women
Do they?
more than the male.
Yeah, no, it's hardly legal, is it?
I'm highly offended by that.
Ah, yeah.
You've been talking about problems.
I thought you were serious for a minute.
Try to.
Yeah.
try
No, it's
to-
not. Of course, men. Nobody studies that. Let's say how many women are killed a fortnight. You say, okay, how many women by what they call it by partners and former partners. Notice they use the word partner, which doesn't mean male or female. And former partners can be the same one again and again and again. They don't say how many men are killed by partners or former partners. How come? Because it's biased reporting. That's the idea. They don't say that. That's not there. Yeah. Biggest killers of humankind. Yeah. They reckon how many was it? 1 a fortnight women. If you add it up to how many a year, it comes to several hundred, whatever. Biggest killers. Are you ready for
have
this
to
one?
share.
Who do you reckon the
Everyone
biggest
has to
killers of
equal
humankind, apart from government? Yeah. It's women. Biggest domestic violence, without a doubt. Not just 100, not just 4 a week, not 100 a week. Thousands a week. You guessed it yet? Are women. Abortion. Voluntary abortion. It's called, I can't remember the word now. They walked off, you see. Rather than argue, they walked off. Because I'm saying something about women that's not nice.
How can someone believe in
Yeah,
those
no, I've got it in here. I'll carry it with me.
You see?
If you look at the office,
Believe the statistics.
I know. Ultimately, no one knows anything. I declare this up front. But if you look at, I just go to what I usually go to is the source. If you disagree with me, I'll go to your source because you believe that source. Do you believe the Office of National Statistics is a source? That's where it came from. I don't necessarily, but according to that, it's thousands, honestly, for elective abortion. And I looked at this about 4 years ago. Since then, they were saying that you don't need 2 signatures from doctors. Yeah, there's even a thing released about 5 years ago where respected university, made a paper about the considerations of post-birth abortion. Yeah, I think I've got it in there as well. Yeah, if you want to see it. Yeah, the biggest killers for no good reason are women, domestic violence and killers generally in society are women. My body, my choice. Where does it leave you as a man? Yeah, if you marry a woman, yeah, and you're in a family, and then you get pregnant, she's delighted, and then she says, well, by the way, I don't want my baby anymore. What recourse have you got?
Should be a mutual decision, isn't it?
Well, it's a mutual decision to have it, but it's not a mutual decision to...
Yeah, I know.
The
abortion should be a mutual
honestly,
decision.
women, as far as I can see, I believe actually women aren't like this at all. I think most of the women around are so contaminated, probably men as well, it's unbelievable. No woman would abort her own child unless there's a damn good reason. It just wouldn't do it. It's not natural. I mean, I'm sure it's happened over many years. Some women reject their children completely, and some men do. But it's unusual. Human race wouldn't have survived if they did. But the biggest killers by far, thousands a week. Globally, it's thousands, and even in this country, it's thousands, from what I work out. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are women, and they claim it because they don't want to take responsibility. They used to say years ago, when I was young, they used to say, well, he couldn't keep it zipped up, could he? As if it was rape. You know, no, she consented, you know, that women decide who's going to be the genetics of the next generation, but don't face responsibility for it. I had a crowd here once, I said, listen, there's a divorce. I said, who believes that a man should face his responsibilities? So I left it vague. And they said, yes. And I said, well, what are those responsibilities? They'll pay maintenance. That's how they saw men. They didn't see him as parents. They just see him as, that's because they've been contaminated. Most women used to, quite rightly, see men as protectors and providers. But feminists stomp their feet and run off, they say. How disgusting is that? Men kill. Men go to war. Okay, you go to war. I suggest that no men go to war, personally, because it's politically pushed. Men don't naturally fight each other, because men are built with honour. Yeah? Without honour, the human race is finished. That is the ultimate deal. And the bloke, because men are powerful, you know, I'm getting older, I mean, most blokes here could probably give me a good ride going over. I'll probably try to protect myself and learn that I'm not as good as I used to be. But the point is, that's it, you see, blokes fear blokes. So there's a mutual understanding. When you shake on something, eye to eye, it's better than any bit of paper. That's how it was all done years ago. If you hear a man, because the men do the business, they're outside the cave dealing with the reality. When you hear a man that's a cheating liar, he don't feature very high in your esteem. He actually won't be employed by anybody. He'll be an outcast. Men like honour. That's why they join these honour societies, all this kind of stuff. But it gets corrupt. And I could go into that, but I won't. Yeah, it's very corrupt. But without that, you don't have a family. So a woman looks, when she looks for a man, yeah, she don't pick some weed who's got no O-levels kind of thing, you know. She'll pick on some big, strong, handsome, powerful, influential person. They love all that stuff because it protects them. Because when you spend most of your time like this, which they have done over millions of years, so it seems until about last 50, pregnant all the time and dropping babies, which is a tremendous risk and investment. You need to be looked after. Someone has to be feeding you and defending you, and it won't be other women. They'll be nursing you because women are good at nurturing. Men are good at defending, but don't get defence mixed up with gratuitous violence. They're different things, but what the feminists have done is say men are violent, they're violent in the homes. And of course, men will be when the women are brought in their babies. Oh, look, the silly... Oi! Come over here! Who was handing out white feathers in the First World War because their men wouldn't go to die for them? Shaming them! Huh? In this very park, the silly people. Suffragettes, my arse. Bunch of cowards. In the First World War, the suffragettes were a bunch of elites. They didn't care about working class, and they wanted the power, yeah? And they were here handing out feathers to men that weren't at war, and the idea was to shame them. Some young boys that were too young committed suicide due to the pressure of the suffragettes. Look into the history. Don't believe the SH1T that is pushed in the media and via that stupid film they had here called Suffragette. Don't be taken along by emotion. Look at the history. Absolutely unbelievable. in this park, the bigger actually movement was the, what's it called, the male suffrage movement in the 1860s. It was called the, oh, I can't remember what it was called. Rod, male suffrage union, what was it called? Male suffrage, yeah, 1860.
The male suffrage, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. Okay, that was held here because the men wanted the votes. Now, you'll be led to believe that men have always had the vote. No, they haven't. The vote was given to those with a franchise that wanted a franchise, a say in the way the king runs the country, and that was the barons. They had their knights. Yeah, they had the means of defence of the area of land that they're charged to look after. Yeah, so they wanted a say. Yeah, they wanted some kind of repayment. They used to present themselves, so we're told. Listen, they wanted some kind of buy-in. They used to go up there with their deed of their property and their sword, and therefore they had a vote, an influence with the king. It was called I can't remember the word now, but not good on words today. But that's what it was. Ordinary people never owned anything. They were serfs. Men weren't oppressing women. They don't have the time. Yeah? In the Industrial Revolution, I've heard loads of stories about all the women were forced at home and having babies and all that, and they were not allowed to work. That's because it was manual labour. You needed the strongest. The weak men didn't get work. Yeah? You needed the strongest. And the people that was prepared to live like pigs because it was exploitatory terribly. It's changed a bit. I don't know why they walked away. And they're saying that men forced them at home. No, they were paid a man's wage to make sure they were looked after. Feminists got rid of the man's wage, everything's half. Now what happened with they were working in the mills with the looms. Now over a very short period the looms got more efficient and smaller. When they got smaller, the men were too big, so they took on women and children. But I never see women saying, we forced the men out of work. I never see the women saying, yes, we were at work. They say, no, we were forced to work. In other words, you know, heads they lose, tails they lose from their point of view. They've got no appreciation at all. Do you believe that men have oppressed women over the millennia, over hundreds of years? Give me an example. Yeah, you believe it. It's a belief. Oh, you weren't allowed to vote? Yeah. But when you weren't allowed to vote, as I was saying to this lot, in this park... Yeah, that lot over there. Yeah. Well, it might be rude to you, but I just speak out loud. If you want to go around accusing people of being rude, you have to live with it, because this is Speaker's Corner. You're very fragile, aren't you? Sorry? Come here. Are you less fragile than this woman? Yeah, but hang on, come. Look, I've got a bloody dog barking over there, him shouting in my ear. People trying to come forward if you want to address me. Address me, I said. Now, come on. And you're so fragile, I don't want to speak to you. I'm not talking to you.
What about when women were tied to kitchen sink and expected to take on the role in the family? Yeah.
Do you mean when the men were slogging away, earning the money so she could be at home and look after, do what women do best, looking after their children and managing the domestic situation? You talk about that? Yeah, they do that best. Yeah, it's instinctive, intrinsic.
When women are doing the same job as men and not paid the same money?
By law, they are.
They haven't been, have they? They haven't been.
It's done doing. Yeah?
It is something to do with it.
I'm not asking. You don't make demands on me.
Ask him if he's married. Are you married?
You don't make demands on me.
I don't know.
I'm not answering that. I'm asking the relevance of it. If you like, I'd stick around if I were you, because I'm unable to. No, stay here. Don't tell her what to do. Don't be told what to do by her. Where's your courage? Come forward as a courageous woman. Stand fast as a courageous woman against a weak man like myself. Put me down, make me lose this argument. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I asked you, can you answer the
come on then, come on. You want to engage, come and engage.
Are you married?
If you want to come, I won't tell you what to do. You step forward and started engaging with me, and I'm saying if you want to engage, but come forward, I can't hear you.
Have you got a wife? Oh dear.
I'm not answering
that.
What? I'm not answering that. I should answer that's nothing to do with what I'm talking about. We're talking about women earning less than men for doing the same job. What's that got to do with being married? married or divorced. What's that? I know what you're at. I know what you're at, but let's stick to the subject. Why do women always get crazy over like this?
You're a small single man with
Well,
your children.
Is that what you think?
Correct.
Is that what you think? So step forward again. No, come and make that statement again.
Why do you feel the need? Why do you feel the need to come in?
Come here. I'll tell you why. Because
I'm wondering why he feels the need to do it and to talk about this.
Okay? Because I like to engage people like yourself, and I like to engage in presenting my thoughts and ideas, not just you, but everybody, and so that I can get feedback and thoughts on that, so we can all benefit from each other by having a free and open discussion. That doesn't involve making accusations or demanding irrelevant answers.
What are you trying to get across today?
What am I trying to get across? Well, I've talked. Everyone who's been here, I've been here for about 2 hours now, and anyone that's been here, they've seen I've talked on a variety of subjects. But at the moment, we happen to be talking about women getting paid or not for doing the same job as men.
Right, and what's your thoughts on that then?
Well, my thoughts are that A, it's illegal. Okay.
What's illegal?
It's paying one person less than another for doing the same job in Britain. Okay. Right. So if it's happening, there's a recourse through law. Yeah. So now also, do you believe that women are paid less than women for doing the same job? Yeah. Do you believe men are paid less than women for doing the same job? And men are paid less than men for doing the same job?
No, not as often, ever.
Well, it doesn't matter how often it.
Do you believe there's the reverse problem, that women are paid less than men?
For doing the same job? Well, yes. All four permutations, if there were four, must all be true. Because illegality takes place everywhere. Sure. And that's the way it is. So there will be. Now, it doesn't matter about numbers. The point is, under the law, because you may believe the law's corrupt, all that, it's another subject, but legally, it's illegal. So it don't matter, hang on, who you are as an individual, forget the male-women bit, hang on a minute, don't tell me what to do. There's a tide of women? Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do, because I won't be talking to you now, so don't deal with that, okay? Right, where were we? So don't worry about numbers for me, we'll worry about that later. But do you believe that the law is inadequate or biased at regulating that?
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it, Mum.
Yeah, do.
Ask it.
Yeah.
Go on. You believe it's inadequate. Can you explain why you believe that? Because you may be right. I don't know. Tell me your evidence for that.
What, the law?
Do you believe that the law is inadequate in enforcing that? You can ask a question after I'm
Well,
finished.
it has been, hasn't it? I mean, there's changes and they're the right changes, but for a long, long time there's been the inequality of women doing the same job and not being paid.
I know, I'm saying, no. I'm saying, when you take recourse to the law, are you saying that the law is biased in enforcing that?
In enforcing it now. Now that they've recognised that there's a problem, and hopefully
in enforcing it. In enforcing it. What you have to do is this. You say to your boss, because the only way you can do anything, think about this. Something we don't think about much occurred to me. The law is all you've got to go by. The rest of it is just whatever the law is. It's not as simple as you think. I'm no lawyer. But the point is, if there's something that you know is against the law, you go to the solicitor and say, no, that's against the law. I'm paid less. Look, that's my pay packet. There's their packet. Job description exactly the same. Turnover exactly the same. Area of what I'm looking after exactly the same, because the same job is difficult to define. Let's say you could define it and you're paid less, and you said, I want to take that person to court for paying me less. That lawyer would either say, yes, a winner, because they keep their job for guilties. They don't keep their job for innocence, right? If they lose cases, they don't get another job. So they'd be more than pleased to take up your case. And what's more, an employer would be putting himself if at the risk. They do anything to stop that happening. It's just not worth it.
Fear in a lot of people that they will maybe won't want to take on the company.
Yeah. How people feel. Say again,
job.
sorry, so I can be sure I'm.
Because of then fear of losing their job or being
out in a way.
So
and it could be.
A lot of people that won't want to.
Yeah, it could be. That's slightly other subject. It's very true. It could be whistleblowers. That comes under whistleblower, and people might be scared to go. But currently, I can see no evidence that women are paid less than men for doing the same job. I don't like to talk about evidence because we seldom we can.
Like you said, the BBC for one.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. I don't know about that. Tell me about it.
It's been all over the media,
I've just told you I haven't, so please don't question me more.
Okay.
Just tell me about it.
So they published who was that woman that resigned because?
I can't remember her name, but I think it was well documented that a lot of BBC journalists or presenters who work for the BBC, female ones, get paid much lesser than male counterparts, and a few of the male counterparts have agreed to at least leave the BBC if they were not equally paid.
Fair enough. But then what about the ones that agreed to leave?
Like Nigel Lawson is underpaid
fine.
compared to Gary Lineker.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But were they doing the same job?
We're talking about Nigel Lawson. She's a well-known.
For doing the same job.
What was the job?
Gary Lineker is a household
journalist. So do you reckon the person that is a journalist for sports in your local rag should get the same? Not my opinion, but I'll ask you why in a minute, because I like to know why. Otherwise, I can't learn anything.
They weren't comparing it to somebody that worked at a different...
No, what I'm trying to do is...
I assume so. Worked at the BBC and did exactly the same thing as she did.
Okay, so what happened as a result of this then?
Pardon?
What happened as a result of this? Don't listen to her, talk to me. What happened as a result of this?
You give authorization.
What happens as a result of
Simple
this?
as that. You give
Don't you tell me anything. Don't you talk to me. I'm not talking to you. I don't want to talk to you. My option.
You don't know. You will never know.
It's a public area. It's a public area.
Can you? Sorry, do you want to carry on the conversation? Sorry, I don't want to. You're discussing very well, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate anyone that discusses well. It's really good exercise for us all. So, what happened as a result? Can we just finish this before you're dragged on? No, but why didn't she go? All she had to do was ring up a lawyer, and she would have got thousands.
But maybe it wasn't about the money. Maybe she wanted to bring awareness to it.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you want to address the situation, you have recourse. The recourse only is through law. The law is there to seek recourse. Sorry?
She didn't want to do it behind closed doors and get a payoff just for her.
If that's her choice.
She wanted to expose it because it's
she exposed the case. I haven't looked at the case myself, but it was exposed by the sounds of it. Now, the point is, if you have recourse through law, that's the whole reason we have law. So you can go and have recourse. If the law is corrupt, then it will show up. And the law is often corrupt. I can think of an example, but it is. But nevertheless, apart from that, if she decides not to, then what can you say?
That law has only just come into place, though. They're only just bringing the law into place about that they should be paid.
I don't even think it's been implemented yet. It's just been discussed in Parliament. It's not even been implemented yet. The men are just thinking about it. Yeah, it's not been implemented.
So there is no law. There was no law, let's say, like a couple of months ago, that you should pay two people to do the same job.
I don't think it's been implemented.
Pay the same for doing the same job. All right. Okay, I didn't know that. You see, now I'll be checking that out, and if you know it, then I'll be convinced by checking it out. He seems to think that.
They're now bringing it in because it's all being exposed, doesn't it?
Nobody
knew.
I'd say not. I mean, that's probably why they're bringing it in, but that was the trigger. Because I've been talking about this the past 4 years, and nobody has challenged me, for 5 years, nobody's challenged me on the fact that it's not the law. That's what I find interesting. And I'm not, don't mean you're wrong or right, but you seem convinced. I'm happy that you are, if you are. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because I usually say, who's from Britain? I'm from Canada, I'm from the USA. They have different laws there. So you have to check. You're UK, and you say that's your Irish, look at that. But I will say this: usually, and you've probably heard this, that when that expression is used, it is a stat that's been put around, bearing in mind the average income of women compared with the average income of men, which is a different thing, and they're used as evidence that women are paid less than men for doing the same job, which are two different things. You have to press.
That is a different thing.
It is, yeah. Well, bear that in mind, because you will hear it around. When you're talking to other ladies, I bet you bump into one or two that have been fooled into conflating the two. It's not their fault. No, they're not fools. It's what they've done to contaminate their minds. That's why I'm really pleased you spoke to me. Yeah, it is a different debate, but it's very similar. You can see how they can with each other. Yeah, great stuff. So, look, you stayed. We say we conquered it, and we come to conclusions. Ace, that's why I acknowledge other people. Look at the anger on her face.
I'm not angry. I'm
Oh, good, excellent. You've learned something. You've learned something too.
But you made an assumption and you
Yeah, I was wrong in my assumptions. Yeah, I was. Yeah. It's just that people usually do that. Oh, you're not, I know. I actually stand like this and people say it to me.
Are you angry when you stand with your hands up?
No, but I have been. I've stood there like that and people said you're angry and I'm not. Yeah, they've made the same mistake. It's called being fallible. It's about human being. Yeah. What are you doing tomorrow night? You free? Hair's nice.
I accept your apology.
Well, don't make you a bloody hero. It makes you human. Anyway.
What's this march?
Better go and ask them. I guarantee you it's to do with women being supreme in some way. They're dressed as suffragettes. Well, not guarantee you, I have the clue. So how can I say that?
It's the suffragettes march, that when women got their rights to vote.
Oh, they're celebrating. What about when the men got their rights?
Come take over everything from your humanity.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to IT.
You were saying right now that they're using, like for example, they're pressuring people to become Muslims in religion, and there's a mass majority of people that are turning into Muslims or converting to Islam in prison, right? Before, like for example, if we check 100 years before, in prisons there used to be preachers and pastors that used to come in, chaplains, thank you very much. They used to come in and used to preach about Christianity, used to tell people how to save themselves.
And still today. And in hospitals.
Yes, you're right.